You are now listening to Ring Kings Boxing on the PRO Media Network.
What's up, boxing world? What's going on? This Big Q chiming with you, and you're listening to Ring Kings Boxing. That's right, on the PRO Media Network. And this is boxing episode 293 on Ring Kings, and we're going to be recapping a bunch of serious weekends worth of fights that happened. In this particular episode, we're going to recap the Charlo Boys as they went into action against Tony Harrison. It was an upset there. We'll get into that, man. There was a lot of stuff. We'll talk about that. Jermell Charlo, he was on, he had a fight as well on the same card with his brother. Dominic Brazil, what happened with him? We got some news on Adonis Stevenson. We're going to even give you a recap of the Canelo and Felding fight that we didn't give it to you. We'll have some more speaking information on Derek Chisora and Dylan Whyte, a heavyweight bout over in the UK, as Dylan Whyte laid the smackdown on Chisora for the second time, and he has his eyes firmly affixed to AJ, as those two have words during the fight as well. So without further ado, we're going to get right to this great content as I open up and bring into today's show our boxing expert, Eddie Too Mean Johnson. What's happening, Too Mean?
Yeah, what's good?
Everything's doing good, my friend. Everything is live and fine, bro. We watched some terrific boxing this weekend, man. And we're going to start the show off by talking about the Charlos, man. Of course, Tony Harrison had a bout against Jermell Charlo. And Jermell lost his junior middleweight title to Tony Harrison by unanimous decision. Now, me and you both watched this fight. They said he got robbed, and I no doubt about it. If Tony Harrison, don't get me wrong, Tony Harrison fought a really good fight. He really did. He fought a good fight. But it was not a fight where you would say, well, he just outclassed him that much and we just give him a full-out unanimous decision. That means all three of the box judges said that this guy clearly won the fight. That wasn't what I seen, or wasn't what most of all the people seen. Eddie, what was your thinking on the upset Harrison over Jermell Charlo?
Yeah, I agree with you. I was like, man, that wasn't no unanimous decision. It was, I think it was a split decision for champion to remain champ. But I don't know what the hell fight they was watching. There ain't no way in the world that motherfucker won that fight. That fucking unanimous decision, like he dominated the fight. Nah, I don't know what. I don't know what fight they was watching.
It just seemed like to me during the fight. Now, like I said, Tony Harrison, he boxed a good fight. He threw punches and bunches. You know, he moved and slid. He made some shots. He did a pretty decent job. He actually did a pretty good job of kind of confusing at times Charlo. You know, I'm stinging him, hitting him with the jab. Every now and again, he'll throw 3-4 punch combinations. And every time Jermell tried to get busy, Tony Harrison would sting him with one of them nice little, that left jab to kind of keep him off center, you know. And it really didn't culminate with Jermell Charlo until later into the 12th round when he stung Harrison. And you can see he was noticeably stung. He stuck him with a nice stiff uppercut against the ropes. But Harrison was smart. When he hit him with that uppercut, the first thing he did was he clinched him and he held on to him. And the judge was like, let him go, Tony. He wouldn't let him go. And I would have actually took a point away from him. But he got in trouble several times in this fight. But Tony Harrison was smart enough to not only box his way back into some of these, Eddie, but he was also able to he didn't just, look to run and hide. He actually got back and worked behind his jab. So like I was saying, Harrison, he was working his body. He was working Charlo's body and everything. Like I said, he put on a pretty damn good fight for him. And I've seen this guy fight before, and this was a really solid bout for Tony Harrison. Ain't no way in the world it was a unanimous decision. And of course, Charlo was upset about it. He wasn't crying like boo-hoo crying, but you could see tears in his eyes. He was actually hurt. He felt, and he said, and this is his quote: "They took the fight from me. I was pressing the action. He didn't win that fight. I'm going to get my belts back. I still want Jared Hurd. I know my brother knows I won that fight. I might have given away a few rounds, but I won that fight." End quote. That's what Jermell Charlo said. And we look at some of the punch stats, Eddie. Let me give you some of the punch stats courtesy of CompuBox. It's the fact that Harrison, our total punches, was 128 out of 377 for 34%. Charlo was 160 of 548 for 29%. Okay, so Harrison did throw more total punches, not jabs. Harrison was 57 out of 193 for 30%. Charlo was 52 out of 328 for 16%. And then power punches, Harrison was 71 121 out of 184 for 39%, and Charlo was 108 out of 220 for 49%. So he did have the power punch advantage. Jabs were Harrison, but total punches, Harrison 34% to 29% won the deal. It was something else, man. It was really something else. His brother was actually watching the fight in the locker room. Even ESPN had the fight at a split. You know, it was just, and Larry Hazard Jr., who was the Fox unofficial scorer, he had Charlo winning the fight 117 to 111. So it's weird. But this is what Harrison said in contrast to what Charlo said. He said, I dictated the pace. Quote, I dictated the pace. That's what champions do. He wound up for big shots. I kept my defense tight. All we worked on was defense. I kept my composure and I did what champions do. I'm blessed. I told y'all, my family, everyone, he's a great champion. I've seen him in the gym. He's a hell of a champion. I use my ring generalship. That end quote. That was what Harrison said. Eddie, before we leave this topic, what's your comments on what Harrison and Charlo said?
I agree with him. What you said when you said he did fight a great fight, but like I say, he ain't win that by no unanimous decision. You know what I'm saying? But Charlo, he had an off night. You know what I'm saying? He made the adjustments late. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he did give a couple of rounds away. But you know what I'm saying? Like you gotta dominate the champ and take his belt from him. He didn't dominate the champ, man.
No, he didn't, Eddie. You're absolutely right, man. He didn't, and he lose his belt. But guess what? Had to come back, and Tony Harrison told him, "Listen, man, in the ring, he says, you gave me a shot, I'll give you a shot." And those guys are going to do it again. Now Harrison, he's now he wins a big one. He's out of Detroit. He's 28-2 with 21 knockouts. He's just 28. Detroit has something to be proud of, as they have a young champion in that division. So big ups to Tony Harrison, man, and Charlo Jermell, man. Just get back in the gym, brother, and this is gonna make you great, believe it or not. Also, Eddie, on other fights, man, there was another fight between his brother, Jamal Charlo, as he went up against Matt Karabov. Now, Karabov took the fight last minute, as you know, because of a cancellation or injury by Willie Monroe Jr. This was an interesting fight. I didn't anticipate this fight going the distance against Karabov, but Karabov, man, to his credit, he fought a damn good fight, even kind of muddied up Jamal Charlo a little bit in this one, man. Eddie, what you thought about that fight?
Oh yeah, he fought a great fight, man. That dude was, you know what I'm saying, he kept landing that, he's a southpaw, he kept landing that straight left on him, you know what I'm saying? He was countering pretty well, man, until Jamal had started making them adjustments, you know what I'm saying? He took that, you know what I'm saying, he was getting less, he started getting hit less with that straight left, took that away from him. Once he did that, and he started landing his shots on it, you know what I'm saying, and started dominating, you know what I'm saying, he dominated the fight from there. But that guy, like I said, that guy was tough as hell, man. He was taking whatever Jamal was throwing at him, you know what I'm saying, to that last round. When he, you know what I'm saying, almost got dropped and almost got knocked out, but he survived it. That was a tough dude, man.
Yeah, Matt Karabov, man, he was a last minute dude, and credit to him, man, to step in the ring and put on that type of fight. And he only had a few days to prepare, by the way. I mean, he was the true definition of a last minute scratch. It was after Monroe Jr. got up out of here and Karabov accepted. He had a few days to prepare, and he came in here and put on a performance like that. And like I said, I wonder what kind of fight it would have been if Karabov would have had the extended period of time. It might have been even this might have been even closer fight than what it was. But anyway, this is what.
A lot of experience though. That dude's a former Olympian champ. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying? He got a lot of experience. So you know what I'm saying? That as long as he's in shape, it don't matter who you put in front of him. Just like Jamal Charlo. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much, no matter who you put in front of him, he's in shape, man. You know what I'm saying? He'll fight a good fighter will fight anybody. You know, all they gotta do is be in shape. So it don't matter who it is.
That's right, Eddie. He was a 2008 Russian Olympian champion, and his record is 28-2 with 14 knockouts. He's 35 years old, out of St. Petersburg, Florida. So, I mean, the man put on a good boxing exhibition up against one of the young, hungry champions in the game. And I gotta be honest with you, he really did hold his own. Looking at some of the punch stats from this fight, Charlo 170 out of 654 for 26%. Karabov had 128 of 457 for 28%. Jabs 56 of 340 for 17% for Charlo. 9 out of 106 for Karabov for 9%. Power punches 114 of 314 for 36% for Charlo. 119 out of 351 for 34% there for Karabov. So, and this guy was a pretty interesting fight. I thought Charlo was gonna come in and dominate it, but like you said, he did kind of sting him in the later rounds, in that late rounds, but he was still able to recover and not get knocked out. But ultimately, at the end of the day, he won a unanimous decision over Matt Karabov in this matchup. And also on that same card, Eddie, Dominic Brazil, man, who's Deontay Wilder's mandatory challenger for his WBC belt. He fought the card of the Charlo brothers fight, and a lot of people don't too much know about Dominic Brazil and what he brings to this. He's a huge fighter, by the way, about 6'7", 6'8", somewhere along the way. He's a huge fighter. He only had one loss, by the way, one loss in his professional career, and that was to Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua was just in a whole nother league. He knocks out big guys all the time. And he's not. He's 6 foot. AJ's 6'6". This guy was 6'7", 6'8", and he had no time just beating and battering Dominic Brazil. What do you thought about Dominic Brazil's win on the undercard of that Charlo bout? What you think about it?
He looked pretty good. Say the guy he was fighting, question mark with that guy, because I don't see how the hell somebody gonna get hit with a punch like he got hit with. That big old sloppy ass right hand hit him in the back of his ear. He should have. He was telegraphing that punch a mile away, and I don't see how he got hit with it, but he got hit with it. He got knocked out. Ain't no way in the world he should have got hit with that. You know what I'm saying? So his skill level must not have been, you know what I'm saying? His skill level wasn't up there, you know what I'm saying, for him to get hit with something like that. Nobody should get hit with, you know what I'm saying, a good skilled fighter on the top 10 like that should be getting hit with no wild ass punches like that, a wild punch like that, man.
He was able to knock out Carlos Negron. And this just turned out to be one of those fights where it was just Negron hit him with some shots that kind of swole up his face as well. He's a big plotting heavyweight, doesn't move too well, but he does have the ability to put out he does have a nice punch there, and he took out the guy. And
Dominic Brazil, he's a tough dude, man. He got a lot of heart, man. But you know what I'm saying, get in real great shape and start working on his boxing a lot more and using his physical attributes, his height and his reach advantage and all that. You know what I'm saying? He can do something.
Yeah, he knocked the guy out 9th round. Negron kind of landed kind of weirdly. He fell on the ground almost like he was praying. But but Dominic Brazil, man, is a U.S. Olympian. 20-1 with 18 knockouts, man. And he was laid off of boxing for almost 2 years, man. He was out of boxing for almost 2 years. I remember he was coming back. He had a 13-month layover, and he was able to come back and clean up the cab driver, Carlos Negron. I ain't gonna call him a cab driver, but he was 20-2 and 16 knockouts. He's former 2008 Puerto Rico Olympian who was boxing for the first time in 8 months. So you have two big heavyweights one was laid off Brazil for 13 months. Negron was in a layoff for almost 2 years. So a lot of ring rust there to jump in the ring. California owns Brazil. As he had Deontay Wilder was in the crowd watching this fight. He said, quote, "I'm next in line for Deontay Wilder. I'm coming for him. I've been waiting for him and I did what I had to do. I'm ready for him now. It's been way too long. 13 months. I definitely worked off some ring rust, worked some great combinations and body shots, finally got the kill. Yes, I know Wilder is here in the crowd. He came to watch. He knows I'm next. He better be holding on to that baby really tightly because I'm coming. Trouble is already here." And of course, Deontay Wilder stood up and told him he's ready at any time. Of course, Deontay Wilder is not going to fight Dominic Brazil. We all know that. Deontay Wilder is looking for the payday. He's looking at Tyson Fury. He's looking at Anthony Joshua. He has options, whether he'll go one way or the other. So, that's a little take on that. Now, the heavyweights, staying with the heavyweight theme, and there was another heavyweight bout that happened Saturday night between two British heavyweight fighters. One is Dylan Whyte, and the other one was Derek Chisora. Of course, these fighters fought before a while ago, and of course, Dylan Whyte got the best of Chisora that time around. Now Dylan Whyte was able to come into and stopped Chisora late in the fight with a crucial hook that just dropped Chisora. I mean, man, he hit him with something mean, man, and he hit the ground and he bounced like 3 times. His head hit the, you know what I'm saying? And you knew he wasn't getting up. He tried to get up, but you know that just did him in. What you think about? We talked about Dillian Whyte before. He was supposed to fight Luis Ortiz before they set this fight, but something happened where it fell through the cracks. What do you think about Dillian Whyte, as he's the mandatory for one of Anthony Joshua's belts? So what do you think about Dillian Whyte going ahead, moving forward?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's a good fighter, but you know what I'm saying, like they say, the fight, there was a rematch with the guy he fought, right? And he was questioning whether he won it or not. It was a close fight, so he came back and, you know what I'm saying, made sure you know what I'm saying, there was no question who won that one. So he made the adjustments, you know what I'm saying, he an impressive win, so he should get that shot at Anthony Joshua. I think Anthony Joshua gonna lay him out.
Beat him once before when he was a smaller fighter. Of course, Dillian Whyte kind of remade himself. He got bigger, but you know, I like Dillian Whyte, man. You know, he's a real guy, real dude. He ain't gonna, you know, he said what's on his mind. But the reality of the situation is, you know, if it's a real possibility that Dillian Whyte will be Anthony Joshua's next fight. By the way, after the fight, Dillian Whyte was speaking in the ring after he knocked out Chisora. He says, quote, "I want that lanky piece of shit over there. Let's go." Whyte said to Joshua, "I deserve my shot. I worked my way up." And of course, Joshua was polite on his response, always a gentleman, saying, quote, "Credit to Dillian, but you know how the list goes," Joshua said. "If it's not Deontay Wilder, and Whyte gets made, I don't want to hear boos." You know, of course, they were booing it because they feel like Dillian Whyte deserved a shot, because Anthony Joshua, listen, Anthony Joshua doesn't have anything, you know, to fight, a reason to fight Dillian Whyte unless he's turned down by Deontay Wilder's people. That's the reality. He wants to unify the belts. You know, he wants to unify the crown. So this time around, I think that you'll see more emphasis made to make this fight happen in 2019 than what it was in 2018, being that people are now more fixated on those two big heavyweights having those belts. Tyson Fury makes it interesting because he's the man in the middle in this whole thing. Dillian Whyte, on the other hand, I could see the fight if they stay stubborn and say, no, we're going to rematch it with Tyson Fury, which I would advise Deontay Wilder to don't do that, because Tyson Fury won't lose that next fight. I'm just going to be honest with you. And just make the fight with Joshua as soon as possible, which that's going to be a hiccup too. It don't get any easier if you Deontay Wilder. It's no more bums you're going to fight here. You're going to fight some credible people, unless he decides to fight Dominic Brazil, which probably would be a better fight for him, easy fight for him, but a lot of risk there because, you know, he could lose his belt to somebody like that. But anyway, Dillian Whyte, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. Eddie, what happened in this weird triad here? Where do you think they're gonna go?
Dillian Whyte gonna be up for Joshua, because I don't think Deontay Wilder really wants that fight. Because he knew no way in the world that Anthony Joshua's not gonna bend to his terms, because he's not the like we talked about before. He's not the A side. I think he's just trying to avoid fight. I don't think he wants that fight, man.
Well, you know what? Lennox Lewis made mention that he said that Anthony Joshua doesn't want to fight. That's what Lennox Lewis was doing.
Deontay Wilder might go for Dominic Brazil. It's mandatory.
WBC already okayed the rematch between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder over Dominic Brazil being the mandatory. He might have to wait another 6 to 9 months before he get another fight with that man. I mean, they're just doing it all. They're just doing Dominic Brazil all kind of ways wrong.
You know what? Tyson Fury gonna be, you know, a lot more sharper now. You know, all that ring rust from all the years he's been off and all that weight he had to drop. I think he back training too already, so he gonna be definitely more prepared. So that's gonna be a dangerous fight for Wilder. You know what I'm saying? So ain't no telling, man. If I know one thing, wherever the most money's gonna be, that's where the fight's gonna happen. Or you know what I'm saying, try to make the most money as much as he can without taking that big chance of losing his belt, so he won't be able to make as much money anymore. If you ain't a champ, you ain't making that much money like you're making when you are the champ.
True, I think that's probably one of the ways to look at it too, man. At the end of the day, that's most certainly what it's going to be. It's all about money. And Deontay Wilder got a taste of the money, got his own promotion company now, so he definitely not looking at a guy like Dominic Brazil. He looking at Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua as he could finally start to really make some serious serious money. He's at the top of his prime in popularity and his boxing ability. I just hope that, let's say, I know he got what's his face as a trainer. I just think that, you know, maybe he can bring somebody in that can kind of teach him a little bit more boxing and moving, and you know, he don't need a lot, just a little bit more to that power to the eraser to kind of make him more of a complete fighter, because it don't get no easier. The next two fighters, the two splitting the roads that he got to go, either Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua. None of these, both of those guys are going to be difficult, especially Fury in a rematch. And everything, like we said before, everything AJ throws at you hurts. Everything, hooks, everything he hits you with gonna hurt. And it's gonna be interesting to see how that basketball body can handle what that football player body gonna throw at him. Outside of that, Eddie, before we get out of here, let's make mention of the fact that big ups to Andrew Stevens and his people. Our prayers, we prayed and sent some prayers out to Adonis Stevenson. He was brought out of the induced coma after he had the severe brain injury. He went right into the ambulance. They took him to the hospital, and he's been there for a while. He was beaten pretty bad in his last fight. He's 41 years old, but out of Montreal. But here's some of the reports that we're hearing from the latest report we got on that Adonis Stevenson, that he was brought out of his induced coma after the injury. And here we go. Quote, despite recent reports being leaked to the media, I want to clarify that Adonis is awake. Simone Cece God, Stevenson's girlfriend and mother of his daughter, said in a statement Sunday. Quote, he is healing from his injury in the private company of his family and his dedicated medical team. Adonis is a world champion in the ring and is exhibiting the same grit, strength, and determination in his recovery, end quote. Now, of course, we knew he suffered that injury when he lost his light heavyweight world title by an 11-round knockout to Alexander Gosedic at the Vitron Centre in Quebec, which he was then taken to the hospital immediately after the game. After the fight. So remember what I said, he's 41 years of age. He got, like me and Eddie was talking about, he said we got started in the game young, but he's favorite Superman. His hero is Superman. He's a world champion and demonstrated his strength in facing every obstacle he's ever faced. He's a legend in the eyes of his fans and a man that demonstrates to his family daily that inner strength and love can change and redeem even the greatest of hardships. So with a spirit and a mindset like that, and these beautiful words that I hear his people coming out with, there's no wonder why Adonis Stevenson is as great as man and person that he is. So once again, we're very happy that Adonis Stevenson is out of coma and on his way to recovery, and we wish him and his family well moving ahead. So with that said, Eddie, another fight that we were too busy to kind of get back into and kind of preview, of course, Canelo Alvarez and Whyte Felding had a bout. Of course, we spoke about that and we said that there's nothing Felding had that could actually do anything to Canelo Alvarez. What's your comment on that fight as Canelo broke him down with body shots? That's exactly what we called in the Canelo and Felding preview, was it not?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We predicted it right and exact. They was going to stop him with a body shot. Because he was so tall, I'm like, man, he gonna chop him down like a tree. That's when he started from the bottom to chop the tree down.
Yeah, do that, bro. I mean, the funny part about it is that, you know, Canelo climbed up, you know, to fighting. It's kind of strange, man, because, you know, he picked this guy, and I thought to myself, you know, this is a hand-picked opponent. What we know, Canelo Alvarez, who usually fight, he was fighting at the middleweight at 160, but to move up 8 pounds to 168 to fight Whyte Felding, when I was thinking it would probably be better fights for him, but you know, it was a belt. The guy had a belt, he took it from him, you know. So I was thinking, you know, if he wanted to move up there to 168, he could fight better fighters than that. That's Gilberto Ramirez in there that he could have fight. That guy's 39-0, you know. So I guess you don't want to start at the top right there, but he's making his way up in that division, man. So what's your thoughts on Canelo Alvarez as he climbed up to 168, man, and knocked off Felding, took his belt? What you think about him moving up to that weight and fighting those other guys? Any problems?
He's working on his legacy, man. You know what I'm saying? Getting another title on his belt. He's seen a perfect opportunity for him, so he jumped on it. You know what I'm saying? A perfect opponent for him. You know what I'm saying? So he can, you know what I'm saying, build his legacy, man. So, you know what I'm saying? Why not? A lot of greats did it. Okay, then we just snatch that belt from him. You know what I'm saying? That's a perfect opponent for me. So I'll go ahead and take that right quick and get that up under my belt too. So that's what that was all about.
Yeah, it's gonna be man, to be quite honest with you, moving forward to see how these guys handle that situation. So Canelo signing with DAZN, and that's Hearn, and he also have Golden Boy Boxing and those guys with him. So a lot of big things on the fray for Canelo. I believe they had a report saying he's supposed to fight 3 times next year. So a lot of boxing coming up, a lot of great boxing as the year close out, and we're looking forward to 2019 for even better boxing. 2018 was a terrific boxing year, and they still got a lot of great fights on the horizon before the year closes out. But 2019 is definitely shaping up to be an excellent boxing year as well. So with that said, that'll do our show for today. Thank y'all for joining us here at Ring Kings Boxing as always.
Congratulations to Caressa Shields for winning Fight of the Year, female boxing. She fought against another champion. It's like the females, you know what I'm saying? It's always champions fighting against champions in the female boxing. I like they putting on better fights than the men. Shit, champion. I mean, undisputed champions fighting undisputed champions, man. That the women, you know what I'm saying? The women boxing.
Well, the women putting on a way to how the men's supposed to be. You're not supposed to run around and run away and talk mess and try to hold on to the belt. Sean Porter, you know, and the rest of these guys like to talk mess and fight lesser opponents so they can hold on to the belt. No, fight the best, man. Stop being most of these guys just gate holders. They just belt holders, placeholders for the man that's soon to come and take all the belts from, which is Bud Crawford. So with that being said, man, we appreciate y'all for joining us on Ring Kings Boxing episode 294. That's right, it's 294, not 93, but 294. As always, yeah, Ring Kings, we appreciate y'all for joining us. If you like the show, you can subscribe, hit the notification bell for more shows. You can also join our social media family. The link's in the description section below, and you can also support our sponsors. Those links are in the description section below. So from me and to me, thank you for joining us tonight. Peace.
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
What's up, sports world? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share. And help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.
Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog, newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.